So Enlisted has just released their latest weapon, and that is the SKS-30. Of course, it came to us with this recent event, and in this case we got a weapon that is pretty good, but of course this is not anything that is a game changer. And today we're going to be covering the SKS-30. So without further ado, this video has been made possible for the friends at Discord, meaning if you haven't liked, subscribed, or joined Discord, highly suggest that you do, and let's get started. In terms of this history, the SKS is one of those self-loading prototypes of a carbine that the Soviet Union used for trials in 1941. This weapon is actually pretty rare for Soviet units because they use a 10-round clip, and of course it uses a more powerful cartridge. Most notably, this thing is most impressively known for its feature with the SKS-45. This of course is the SKS-30, and the SKS-45 can be identified with the stock bayonet that folds, so a folding bayonet right below the muzzle of the gun, which is actually pretty useful in Enlisted, and I do think it's gonna get added when the Cold War starts, in Enlisted of course. But the SKS-30 is a prototype of the SKS-45, one of those guns in which I actually want to get in person in real life, so that's that. Without further ado, let's go on to the stats, because the SKS is actually a pretty interesting rifle in terms of stats. In terms of the stats, the SKS-30 is chamber in 7.62, hit power 15.3, rate of fire of 350, muzzle velocity of 805, shot deviation of 28, vertical of 85, or horizontal of 27. This is actually better than the SVT-38, which actually in some cases has the exact same shot deviation but more vertical and the recoil once of course you fully upgrade the thing. Whereas the SVT-40 is worse in almost every regard with the exception of the horizontal recoil. The gun, the SKS-30, sways a lot when firing, and that is one of those habits I found out the hard way when shooting my enemies. That said, let's move on to the verdict, and the verdict is simple. The SKS-30 versus the SVT is a much better gun. However, this is one of the things that I like to tell everyone is the fact that I personally don't like horizontal recoil. The gun sways when it shoots, and the SVT-30 with vertical recoil is much more easily manageable because I'm just a fan of vertical recoil, meaning that the SVT-38 is a much better hitter in my personal opinion. Of course, I've used both weapons, the SVT-38 and the SKS-30, and my personal opinion is the fact that whatever suits you. I've seen some people take out the SKS-30 and use it to great effect. I personally use the SVT-38 to great effect, but overall it's pretty much the exact same gun except for one big issue, and that is the lack of a bayonet. The SKS-30 does not have a bayonet. The SVT-38 does have a bayonet, and in Enlisted right now, what I like to do is to go in deep and go in strong, meaning that if I attack a point and I suddenly run out of bullets for my 10 rounds, what's going to happen is that I'm probably going to use the bayonet. Whereas the SKS-30 does not have a bayonet. However, the reload time is not bad, although the SVT-38 is a better reload time. So once again, the entire situation revolves around what do you think is better. The SKS-38 is, I do have to admit, better at range if you take time to reload, but the SVT-30 is a much better kicker in almost every other regard, and of course close quarters combat. That said, it is really up to your personal suggestions. The SKS-30 is not a bad gun, but also it's not a game changer in any way. So without further ado, this is all it for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one.